agreeing to talk to us today.
Of course.
So, Reginald, I've got to ask to start off with, you've done so many amazing projects over the years. What drew you to this film and made you want to direct this film?
Well, I just love the script. I mean, it starts with that simple feeling of when you read something and you feel an urgency. I mean, I couldn't sit still. I had to get up and walk around. And I just thought, man, I'd be crazy not to make this movie. And that's the feeling you want. You want to feel that level of passion. I love the inspirational aspects. I knew it could be funny. I knew we could make people cry. What's not to like?
Exactly. Did you know about Ray's story before you read the script, or was it something that you only learnt about after you read the script?
I did not know about it before, but once I knew about it, I just really related to it. I know that feeling of, you're trapped in a situation. You got to make it work no matter what.
Yeah. So as a lot of filmmakers read and listen to our show. So tell us a little bit about what steps you take then when you're directing a film about a real person. You've read the script. Do you then go and try and meet him? Do you look for other interviews that he's done? What's the steps that you go through as a filmmaker?
Well, the key thing for me was meeting Ray. We went to lunch. We kind of, even though it was a lot of us, we kind of went to the side. We had a couple of private conversations. We talked on the phone a few more times. And I just got a few more details. Even though the script was fantastic, I just needed a few more details, and he provided those details, and I really felt like I understood him enough to tell the story of this part of his life.
What was Ray's reaction when you first met him? Because this is a huge thing. It's not something that happens to a lot of people, having a movie made about their life. How did he feel about it? Was he a little reserved, or was he excited about the project?
Well, Ray is a low-key guy. He's very humble. At the same time, behind that, a quiet confidence. He was great. He wasn't pushy. He wasn't nervous. He was a great ally to have throughout the production. Both to me and to the actors.
Yeah. Does it add more pressure to you as a filmmaker when you're making a movie about a real person rather than just a work of fiction? Do you feel that pressure that I've really got to try and get this right?
Yes, absolutely. Either knowing that person's going to watch this depiction of their life, or that their family's going to watch a depiction of their life, you want to make sure that you're respectful and that you're accurate. And so far, that's all worked out for me pretty consistently. So I'm glad that I can do that and make an entertaining story and entertaining story and entertain an audience.
What's that moment like when you know that they're about to sit down and watch the movie that you've just completed about them? Is there a real nervousness there that they might come back and say, I don't like this, or I want you to change this?
Absolutely. I'm nervous about the subject's response. I'm nervous about the actors when they see the movie. Everything is nerve-wracking. So you just try to keep yourself busy and wait for the word.
Yeah. How difficult does that also make the casting? How hard was it for you to find the actors to play the various stages of Ray's life? Was that a difficult thing to do?
Very difficult, because you had to have an actor who was charismatic, who could go to heavy, dark places. At the same time, they had to have tremendous physical ability. I didn't want to do the Hollywood approach. I wanted an actor who could run, who could throw, who could catch, who could, hit and get hit. So we were very fortunate to find Jay Reeves, who had all those qualities.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that, because we find here in Australia that we have Australian rules football, and very few movies are made about it. And I once asked the director why he thought that was so, and he said, it is such a fast-paced game, it is hard to shoot for film. What are the added pressures that you find when you're making a sports movie about American football?
thing is, American football is very well shot. When you watch a game on television, they have cameras everywhere. It's really beautifully done. So the challenge as a filmmaker is how do you top what they do very well on television? So you have to really get inside of the player and really show his thinking and his mentality and his fears and his perspective. And so you feel like you're bringing something different. You're bringing an element of psychology to the visuals.
Yeah. And were you a big football fan before this?
I mean, I like football. I'm not a football expert, but I really enjoyed making the movie because, I mean, that fundamental sense of kind of gladiator is just great to show. It's an incredibly visual sport.
Yeah. You mentioned before about wanting to find an actor who could do all the football aspects. Tell us a little bit about what kind of training goes into that. How do you then work with the actor and get them used to taking big hits and things like that?
Well, we had a trainer for them who would, get them physically fit and go over the plays with them. But then Ray showed up, the real Ray.
Yeah.
And Ray says, I'm going to train you like I was trained. And that was a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But the actress survived it, which was quite admirable.
Yeah, I guess a lot of actors out there listening would be interested to know, how long does that training go for? Is it a few days, a few weeks?
Oh, it went for the entire length of production.
Yeah.
He said, if you you guys got to look like your players. So, an enormous amount of physical training.
Yeah. And, of course, as you mentioned before, American football has set plays. How difficult was that to choreograph? And you mentioned before about shooting it, but how difficult is it to know exactly what shot you're going to get for every aspect of that play?
It took an enormous amount of planning. It was really like a military operation. Well, first you had to plan out the play, then we had to plan the angles we wanted on the play, and then we had to plan out all the different cameras so that the cameras wouldn't get in each other's way. So there was the choreography of the play, then the choreographers of the different camera operators as they're shooting the play. So very, very complicated. And for the scenes we were shooting in the stadium, we had to shoot 4 football plays in 7 minutes. So an incredibly tight amount of time. No time for do-overs. We had to get it right and get out of it.
Wow. I'll finish off with this question as well. The music, absolutely amazing soundtrack. Tell us a little bit about the music, because I hear that you're a little bit of a music lover as well.
Indeed. And it was really great. First I worked with my regular composer, Marcus Miller, who's brilliant. One of the greatest bass players in the world. Worked with Miles Davis, worked with Luther Vandross. And we really wanted a score that represented sports. So we did a lot of drumline music, to keep that tension. We also had the great music of the Dirty South in the year 2006. So you have Outkast, you have T.I., you have Ludacris, you have Trick Daddy. So that sound. And then you have the old school sound, which Ray listened to a lot of his mother's music. So you have Earth, Wind, and Fire, stuff like that. So that mix created a really great music bed, for the entire film.
Awesome. Well, Reginald, congratulations on such a fantastic film. We've run out of time, but again, thank you so much for chatting to us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate. Bye.